Hey folks, good morning. Mike here. I wanted to make a quick video today to talk about human system defaults and stress. I've been telling a particular story a lot these days in my practice, so I wanted to share it out there for your benefit. It seems like 2019 has been a pretty stressful year. I know I've been feeling that. I know a lot of my clients and other folks I chat with have been feeling that. And so perhaps you are as well. So when my clients are under stress and sometimes things seem to slow down in their improvement, or they might even take some steps backwards, what I like to orient them to a lot is what I call my Thanksgiving story. So I'll tell that now. Probably 7 or 8 years ago in my practice, I was working with a woman who'd come in with kind of a constellation of symptoms, which, is not super out of the ordinary for a rolfer. Some back pain, neck pain, shoulder tension, knee pain, just general lack of ease, discomfort in the body that nothing had really been able to help her with for a really long time. And looking at things from the structural perspective, her body was showing those patterns. There was kind of a hunched aspect to her shoulders and some compression, and sometimes her shoulders were up in her ears. And you can't really see as I'm holding my phone, but like her hips might have been like torqued a little bit, all happening together and creating a real strain on her system, resulting in the symptoms. So over the course of this fall, for a few months, we maybe did 7 or 8 or 9 sessions, and things were going great. The structural patterns in her body had really balanced out, which is what we like to see in the Rolfing context. And her symptoms were more or less resolved. And we were really kind of towards the end of our work. A really successful intervention was happening. And then we were approaching Thanksgiving and the holidays in general and all that go with that. And she and her partner happened to be hosting Thanksgiving dinner. And like all the kids were going to come back with their partners and their kids. I believe there were some step siblings involved, and maybe even some neighbors. And, so it was going to be a pretty big gathering, 12 or more people, as I recall. And my client was the hostess, and she was really a lot on her own planning and executing this whole meal, which she was really excited and happy for, to have everyone home. But it had kind of the stress that went with it, as she was getting ready to do that, as the holiday meals do, right? We all know that. So the week of Thanksgiving came and went, and we didn't have a session because of our schedules. And the week after, maybe the Monday or Tuesday after Thanksgiving, she came in for a session just feeling horrible. And she was, of course, tired, but her body was really feeling some of the similarity to how it had felt when she initially came in. And in looking at her structure, a lot of the patterns that we had unraveled were back. So she was kind of hunched and compressed and twisted. And really, she looked like she did the very first session she'd come in a few months prior. Now this was a great lesson for me in the impact of stress on the body, but it was also a cool lesson in how cool the human system is when you create some resources in it. Because just in that one session, we were able to just unravel things and get her back to where she had been prior to Thanksgiving. We had built enough resource in her system that her body could kind of recognize, like, oh, right, I don't have to do this anymore. I can go back to ease and balance, which was great. It was a great way to end our work. And again, it taught me this really great lesson as a practitioner and as a human about the impacts of stress on the human system. So, there's really 2 kinds of stress, I guess you could generalize. There's distress, which is negative, and eustress, EU stress, which is positive stress. So that could be like, ooh, I'm starting something I'm really excited about, or I'm getting ready to travel somewhere I've never been, or, things like that, having a child. They both have similar physiological responses in your system, whether it's good or bad. And what I found with my clients is that the impact of stress, pushing oneself beyond kind of your normal day-to-day container of activity, normalcy, really, will challenge your system. And under that challenge, very often, your body, your mind, your emotional patterns that you developed over many, many years will come back. It's as if your system has this default point or set of points that it just knows will help it survive and potentially thrive or get through the challenge that it faces. So, for some people that might be, wow, I have this big work project, and I know the way that I get through these big work projects is to get mad and to do it all myself, because that's what's done it before. So during that time, that person emotionally might default back to being mad and kind of in a solo mode, right? Other folks may have an emotional pattern that go with stress that's different, I guess. And then even the human physical structure might go back to what it knows, which is potentially the shape that you take on, and therefore the symptoms of how your body feels when you're under a particular type of stress. Now, remember, the key thing is that these are all good foundationally. They might result in something that you don't like or that people around you don't care for, but foundationally, your system has built these as a resource to help you get a need met, to help you survive and get through a challenge. So remember, if you feel like you're moving forward in life and you're achieving goals or changes that you want to make, but you do this kind of 2 steps forward, 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 steps back, and then another few steps forward, and there's kind of like this choppiness to it, that's perfectly natural. When you're moving forward into anything new, you're going to hit places where your body, your mind, your emotions want to default back to what's safe and known to help you get through. So hopefully that's some good, solid, helpful information for you. Keep you from getting maybe frustrated if it's been a stressful year for you in 2019, and give you maybe a bigger picture set of contexts for what might be happening in your system. Happy to answer any questions. If you want to message me here, give me a call. I love talking about this stuff, and hopefully I can help you make it through a stressful period of your life. All right. Good chatting with you. This is Mike signing off.